Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
For more than a century, Americans have honored our country's military heroes on November 11th. Despite the pandemic, ceremonies are still taking place, but modified for safety. Elise Preston takes a look at tributes across the U.S., including a brand new monument honoring Native American veterans.
This new memorial welcomes visitors on the National Mall as a space for healing and reflection. It's Washington's first monument honoring Native American veterans who have served in every major military conflict since the Revolutionary War.
In spite of the way that Native people have been treated for so long, they have made these sacrifices, made this commitment to serve their country, to protect their homeland.
Rebecca Troutman with the National Museum of the American Indian says Smithsonian curators spoke to dozens of tribes to help design the monument, which Congress authorized in 2013.
We had planned on having this year a huge gathering of Native veterans. We've pushed that back until a time when it's safer for us to gather.
COVID-19 and a driving rain kept the crowds away from the National Mall. The Vietnam Memorial put its annual commemoration online. In California, the Reagan Library hosted 100 guests for a program honoring all branches of the military.
Here in New York, the city scaled back its traditional public events, opting instead for a smaller ceremony on board the USS Intrepid aircraft carrier.
I say to all of you who serve, thank you and God bless you.
Virginia did not allow the pandemic to silence its tribute. Governor Ralph Northam is himself a veteran.
We need to remind our veterans each and every day that they are heroes and that they are patriots.
Virginia alone is home to more than 720,000 veterans, part of the 20 million nationwide honored on this Veterans Day for their sacrifice to the country. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Veterans Day originated in 1919, the first anniversary of the end of World War I. A 20-year-old woman faces several charges after a trespassing call led to a fire. Around noon today, Fargo police were called to the 1300 block of 32nd Street South for a report of an unwanted female. When officers pulled up, they saw smoke coming out of a window and quickly called for firefighters. The victim was able to get out of their apartment safely. Once the fire was out, police found Naimal Kochlik hiding in the laundry room. She's accused of trespassing at the same place yesterday. Police say she resisted arrest and attempted to assault an officer. She's facing multiple charges. When the sun is out, perhaps we don't mind the chilly temperatures as much. So here's hoping for sun as we move through the week and it gets colder. Summer has more in tonight's forecast. Hey, Summer.
Hey, Andrea, a little bit of sunshine always makes things extra special, especially on this Veterans Day. But we were off to another cold start this morning. We saw a low temperature in Candue and Langdon, both falling to 5 degrees. 7 in Hallock, 9 in Roseau, 10 in Grand Forks, 16 in Fargo with some milder air down to the south, with Sisseton's low temperature today at 27. We have been able to recover, at least for the majority of the region. Across our northernmost counties, we've been seeing some thicker cloud cover and some snow today, so they're still seeing temperatures in the low 30s, upper 20s. But in the south, where we've had a little bit more sunshine, temperatures have been able to warm up into the 40s. Right now on satellite and radar, we can still see some of that light snow and even some rain mixing in north of I-94, and that's going to continue for a couple more hours. Speaking of winds, we don't have too much across northwestern Minnesota, but the wind is picking up across eastern North Dakota, where we're seeing sustained winds into the 20s with gusts beginning to pick up into the 30s. For your hourly planner tonight in Fargo, sunset was just a few minutes ago at 4:57 p.m. and temperatures are going to fall from the mid-30s into the 20s, and some places overnight will see the teens, and depending on cloud cover, a few more single digits might yet again be in the forecast. So bundle up, we're getting ready for a cold night, and I'll let you know how cold will be for our Thursday coming up.
Okay, thanks, Summer. Bemidji police need your help finding a missing 13-year-old boy. Vincent White was last seen in the 1700 block of 15th Street Northwest around 12:30 this morning. Police say it appears that he left the area voluntarily. White is 5'4", 155 pounds with brown eyes and brown hair. He was wearing a red hooded sweatshirt. If you know anything about his disappearance, call the Bemidji Police Department. This week marks the 33rd anniversary since the disappearance of a vulnerable Wadena, Minnesota woman. Carla Anderson was 23 when she disappeared on November 13, 1987. She is featured on one of the playing cards in the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension's cold case deck. The cards highlight 52 violent, unsolved cases from the past 50 years. If you know anything about Carla Anderson, contact the Wadena Police Department or the Minnesota BCA. Valley News Live has obtained an email unveiling Sanford's next stage in its pandemic surge plan. It focuses on 3 areas: expanding bed capacity, continuing with non-emergent procedures that are already scheduled but reviewing new cases, and reassigning staff from clinics to medical centers. The email states that 35 more beds have been added to the Broadway campus and 14 rooms are under construction at the main Sanford Medical Center. Sanford is also looking over Governor Burgum's new order that allows asymptomatic healthcare workers who test positive to continue working in COVID units. North Dakota health experts are reporting another high daily COVID positivity rate in the state at more than 18%. There are now more than 11,000 active cases reported. Cass County is again leading the state in new cases today at 341. There are also 12 new deaths, bringing the state's total to 686. The full numbers can be found on our VNL News app and on the bottom of your screen. The Veterans Day observance in downtown Fargo looked a little different this year because of COVID-19. The usual ceremony at the Civic Center was cut short, but not the event held over at the VFW. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockey talked with some of the vets and shares some of their stories.
During times of peace and during times of war.
And in that 10 months and 13 days, I got shot 3 times, crashed in 4 helicopters, one of which I was the only one to survive, and got run over by a tank.
This is why we honor those who served on Veterans Day. Men and women like Mike Grushala.
On the first casualty that I went to identify and bag up, he had the flag from the fire base tucked inside his shirt. I still have that flag.
Every male in my family since World War II has served.
I joined the Navy, went on active duty when I was still 17. Our operations area was Vietnam, off the coast of Vietnam, conducting naval gunfire support. And by the time I was done, I retired with 42 years of service.
I'm just proud that I served my country. My father, he was in the Army. He was in the Korean conflict war. My father had 2 Purple Hearts. He had a couple Bronze Stars, and I just follow my father's footsteps.
Would you do it again?
Yes, in a heartbeat.
In Fargo, Courtney Lockey, Valley News Live.
The veterans we talked with say they're thankful to be part of a community with great patriotism and support. There's another serious problem facing our veterans: the sacrifices these men and women make that often leave them with scars we cannot see. Military suicide rates are 20% higher this year than in 2019. Violent behavior has also spiked. Experts say that's due to veterans not getting the help they need because of the pandemic. The struggles can be related to war zone deployments, national disasters, and civil unrest. One military veteran explained to us why the number 22 is so special.
22 veterans commit suicide every day or attempt suicide every day. And, obviously I think the number is closer to 20 right now, but that's still way too high. And I'm so passionate about it because the person I slept next to in Iraq, he committed suicide right when we got back.
Kuhn says they get $10 billion every year from the federal government to deal with veteran suicide. He feels the money could be better distributed to local churches, VFWs, and American Legions. Mission 22 also provides relief programs for veterans and their families. The suicide hotline is a free service, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can see that number on the bottom of your screen, 800-237-8255. A meaningful surprise for a local military hero. About 50 years ago, veteran John Horner lost a ring he had purchased during his time in the Army in the Korean War. He and his wife had been living in a Linton, North Dakota home for 60 years. They recently moved out, and when a new couple moved in, they began renovating. During the demolition, they came across the ring. It was badly tarnished, as it had been in the wall for at least 50 years. Family members got it fixed up and surprised Horner for Veterans Day.
We were able to present it to my father-in-law as kind of an early Veterans Day gift, and of course, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that it had, been cleaned up that much, and of course, he couldn't believe that he hadn't seen it for 50 years.
Horner's family says they'll remind him not to put the ring between the walls this time. Still to come, if you're ready to make a 5-star impression this holiday season, these gift boxes might be just the thing.
Temperatures across much of the southern Red River Valley were near seasonal average for this time of year. But as we head into your Thursday, we have some much cooler air that's about to settle in. I'll have a look at your Thursday high temperatures along with the 7-day planner coming right up.